Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing something that's been requested on my channel a couple times now since August, and it was on a list and then I switched out notebooks and forgot to put it back on the list and was reminded in my comment section about it. So I am doing it. I am doing it today, and it is a tutorial for an eye look using the Natasha Denona mini Xenon palette and accomplishing an eye look that I did with the palette when I reviewed the palette. And I'll put the review up in the cards for you guys to watch. I reviewed this palette and two other Natasha Denona 5-pan palettes. I was specifically asked for a tutorial using this palette to create the halo eye that I created and was wearing in that video. So that's what we're doing today. That sounds like something that you're interested in. Please keep on watching. And for those of you new here, hi. I'm glad that you found me. My name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high and colorful beauty and self-care. I also work in the beauty industry as a field leader for Ulta Beauty. I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here on my channel, but ultimately I just like talking about makeup, and that is what I'm here doing, living my best life, talking about the things that I enjoy and have a passion around. And I hope that you find that this channel brings solace to your soul in the way it brings solace to mine. So if you like what you see, I do hope that you'll want to subscribe before you go. And with that said, let's roll into this tutorial. So we are dealing with some natural light today. I'm hoping that it stays in as bright and nice and sunshiny as it is outside right now. If it doesn't, I'll turn on the other lights, but I'm going to zoom you in really close to my face, and I am going to start this. I'm hoping that I remember that this is about the makeup today and not necessarily about me chatting with you. I don't typically do tutorials here on my channel. I don't believe myself to be the end-all speak-all on makeup application, but there is a rare moment in my comment section where people are asking me for tutorials on eye looks that I have created, so that is what we are here doing today. I'm going to start my eye look with eyeshadow primer. The only time I don't prime my eye is when I am doing it for review purposes. Today I am just using a shadow stick. This has been my preferential eyeshadow primer of choice as of lately, and today it is the Bobbi Brown Longwear cream shadow stick in the shade Vanilla. It's part of my project pan. It's been in my project pan since I think August last year. Really super excited that this is all I have left of it. So I'm trying to just kind of get it over and done with. So I don't really have a mirror super close to me, so I did grab a little compact with a mirror so that I can do this while showing you guys what I'm doing. I typically wear glasses, so I have to be up close and personal to the mirror or I can't see anything. I typically stand, so I have a mirror right here, and I typically stand up against that mirror and do my makeup. And that's where I used to film too, way back in the day. I do go quite a bit outside of my eye line so that I have primer everywhere where shadow might end up existing. And because this is a halo eye, I don't get super smoky with it in terms of like going out. Sometimes with color, I like there to be a white base underneath, but with this one, the colors are gray and black, so I don't necessarily need there to be a white base underneath. And I think that this one does a really good job of like canvassing my eye in a way that like takes out all the discoloration and makes it just one. So I'm gonna get you all up close and personal with my face. We're going to start actually this eye look with the deepest shade, the blackest black. I put it on the outside and the inside corner of my eye look, and I just use, initially I use a brush that kind of looks like this. It's a really small, like almost fingertip like brush. It's a super dense, like dome shaped brush. This one is an MOTD Masterpiece crease brush. It's not necessarily my favorite brush, but it is a decent brush. And for the inside, I use this brush here, which is the same shape. It's just smaller, and it is the Esom S31 brush. I got this on a buy to get to. So I'm going to go in with that blackest black, and I'm just going to dab my brush in, so not really swiping to get pigmentation on, and then place it on my eye. And I do this by patting it onto my eye look versus swiping it to begin with. This black is a little dabble do you kind of black, but it is also, it starts not super pigmented, which I actually kind of appreciate for a black. But as you build it, you can see it gets really black. And I'm not going outward because I'm not making this a smoky eye. I go in, so up and in. So then I'm going to do that to my other eye. Then I'm going to take my smaller brush, and I'm going to do the same thing on the inner corner. Again, up and in. I just want to preface this by saying too that just because I'm doing this tutorial with the mini Xenon doesn't mean that this is the only palette that this look can come from. I think that we all understand that, but I want a disclaimer here. I'm not telling you have to go out and buy this palette to create this look. Any like monochromatic kind of gray black color scheme in a palette is going to do this for you. I've got my black placed in kind of where I want it to be. And then I am going to go in with a little bit more of a fluffy brush. So this one is the Sigma E42. It's a precision firm blender, and it's just a small like blending brush. I am going to take the second shade in here, this dark gray, and I am going to kind of pat my brush in and kind of pat it along the edges of this black. And while I'm patting it there, I am also sweeping it towards the black. And on the inner corner, I'm sweeping it out, but really blending it in to that black. And what this does is kind of softens that black. That's where we're at right now. It looks like we've got a little bit of creasiness happening. So I am going to go back in with the black and just kind of pat it back in. So the next thing I do is kind of try to make the two halves come together at the top. So I usually take a blender brush. This one is the Detail Diffused Crease Brush. It's the E33 by Sigma. This is what it looks like. It's kind of fluffy, but also kind of flat. As far as the ferrule goes, it's a rounded ferrule, but the brush strands are kind of wide, but also flat. And then I am going to take this lighter gray shade right here, and I am going to get that on my brush, on both sides of the brush. And I am going to tap it first into this eye look up top, and then I'm going to start sweeping it out. Windshield wiper moment. What this does is it creates a baseline and a flow for your deeper color later. So that's where we're at right now. Do the same thing on this eye. Pat it in and then swipe it. So once you get it placed in the place that you want it to be, then you start swiping. I tend to get really messy with the blend, if I'm honest with you. I know that I can fix it at the end of the day. So you really, especially with black eyeshadows and grays and stuff like that, brights, you really have to trust the process and trust that you know what you're doing. Kind of let go just a little bit and not get so overwhelmed with messiness. So you can see it's kind of messy up there. So then I'm going to go back in with the brush that I used for the darker gray. And then I'm going to start patting that back in and then bringing it up to the lighter gray above that black and over. So see what it's doing is it's creating that line of the crease there. And it's really light-handed blending here. that's gonna get you where you need to be with this eye look. That's where we're at. I'm gonna do the other eye. Trust the process. You really have to have some confidence in the fact that you do know what you're doing. Black tends to get out of control really quickly and messy really quickly. I'm gonna go in with that light gray again. By the time you get into the inner corner, most of the gray is just the blend in instead of all the pigmentation. Here we are. You can see it's starting to blend here in the way that you really want it to blend into kind of like this smoke vapor. Again, really trusting the process, but also a really delicate hand when you're blending this. At this point, I start blending out the sides of this too, to not like blow it out, but to give it a little bit more of a like circled appearance without the stark black being on the absolute outside of the eye look, because black is a really great color to use in an eye look, but you have to make it look soft or it just looks awful. I think in that video I said too that this look kind of has this like steely blue to it, and I think that you're seeing that come to fruition up here. I do believe a lot of it has to do with this deeper gray that's a little more slatey blue than it is gray. At this point, I get a flat shader brush. I don't like using glitter glue, but if you have qualms about glitters being on your eyes, please by all means use a glue. I just wet my shadows with a setting spray and then I begin tapping it on. So I go clear up to the crease with the tap, swiping a little bit here and there, but mostly tapping. And I do go the whole length, or the whole like width, I guess, of my eye look. And again, I just tapped it on. It doesn't look fantastic right now. Again, trust the process, but you can see that silver had no problem sticking to my eye without the glitter glue. So there we have the baseline of the eye look. So now I'm gonna go back in with the black and I'm gonna tap it on the corners to bring some of that black back in. Not much, just a tap, and then place it. There, I just tapped it in. Then I'm gonna go back in with the brush and that darker gray, and I'm gonna tap it on the outsides of that black and swipe it into the silver. I got a little carried away with the silver over here, so I am gonna go back into my black. It's still a little carried away, but if you want to fix that, you can just make sure that you carry away the silver all the way down instead of just in that one spot. So that might look like me going in with the brush that I used for the silver and kind of placing the silver out further throughout the rest of the eye look. What you do for one side, make sure that you do for the other. So now I'm going to take a blending brush with 0 color on it, and I'm just going to blend over the top of this and along this side. This is a Sigma diffused crease E38, but you could use any fluffy brush. I'm gonna go in with the brush that I used for the light gray, this guy here, and I am going to bring that back into the eye look. I feel like I've lost quite a bit of that lightness, and blend. And then with the darker gray, just blending out the top line a little bit more. And then go in with no additional color on the one that I used for the silver, but I am going to spray it and make it wet just one more time, and then just kind of pat it over the top. Okay, I am gonna go do the rest of my makeup, and I'll come back, I'll tell you what I used, but then we will complete the lower lash line and the rest of the eye look. But this is what we're at so far. Trust the process. All right, we're back. I have got my face on, and I am using so first and foremost, the primer that I use today is in my Shop My Stash. It's the No Problem Primer by Touch and Soul. I really like that primer. It feels really good on my face. I am using these 3 items as my foundation, and the reason why I'm using 3 is because this is in my project pan. I'm cruising on through it. It is the Zoeva Authentic Skin Natural Luminous Foundation. I really love the finish of this foundation, but it is in shade 050N Beautiful, which is obviously too late for me. So I do have this mixed with the Clinique Even Better Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 15. It is kind of more pink, whereas this kind of makes me look a little bit green. This is WN30 or Biscuit, which is actually considered very fair. It's one of their very fair shades, but it is very pink. As you can tell, like the difference is stark. So I'm somewhere in between the two. So I've been mixing them. And then I also have in a deepening drop or 2 because it does not quite turn out still the right color. For contour, I'm using the cream in the Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer in the shade She's Sculpted. I'm using the Fenty Sunstalker in the shade Island Ting as my bronzer. And I am using the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur in Mauve Sunrise as my blush today. I'm not super certain I love this. I feel like it picks up product. I haven't really figured out how to properly apply it yet. And then my highlight today is the MAC Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish. And that is all I have on my face today. I don't have any concealer on. I don't really 100% love concealer. We all know that. In my brows, I am using a combination of these 2 items, which are also in my project pan. It's the Benefit Gimme Brow Plus Volumizing Pencil in the shade 4.5 and the Gimme Brow Gel in the shade 3. And I haven't got anything on my lips yet. Let's finish up this eye look. I'm going to pull you in close. I'm gonna first go in with the black shade right along my lash line. Then I'm gonna go in with the lighter gray shade. So I'm gonna go black and then the light gray shade. And those are the only 2 colors that we're putting on this lower lash line for the most part. So I'm just starting with the same brush that I used for that black. And you have to be very careful with this because it is a big brush, and I'm trying to be really strategic about where I place this black. Because again, black can get out of control, so you need to be very careful with it. So just like that. I only go about, 2/3 over and just underneath the lash line. I've been having a serious problem remembering audio these days, so now I'm all stressed out about it. Okay, then I'm going to go in with that same brush that I used for the light gray, and we're going to put the light gray into that. Because I did what I did, and that was accidentally flip some of that gray into my inner corner. So I'm going to find a small concealer brush. It's not necessarily a small brush, but I'm going to take it, dip it into my foundation, and just get a slight bit and kind of try and cover that up. And that's how you fix that. Okay, I'm going to take that gray and just build very slowly into this lower lash line. Just like that. Now I am going to go in with a black eyeliner pencil, and I am going to line my lower lash line and tight line. And with the lower lash line, I just go about 1/3 over. Okay, and then with the small like pencil brush that I used initially for the black in the inner corner, I take that and I run it along that eyeliner that I just placed and kind of smudge it in to the rest. All right. So now we've got lower lash line done. I am going to take a black liquid liner. This is the Stila Stay All Day dual ended, but I'm going to use the black end, and I'm just going to stamp it across the lash line. I don't use lashes much, but if you use lashes, you'll probably, do this step You're using it to cover up a lash band or whatever. Now I am going to do the white. So I take a really small brush. This one is the Tightline E16 from Sigma. It's just a really small, really thin brush. I go into this like white shade here, and then I am going to put it into my brow bone and then into my inner corner. And then I take the brush that I used for the lightest gray and I blend it all together. Up at the top, no additional color. All right. Before I put on mascara, I always will use a setting spray. Mascara and lips are next, so to finish the eye look, I am going to use my lash curler and curl my lashes and the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. For lips, I'm going to use my Thrive Cosmetics lip filler lip liner in Gislon. This is the color of it. And then I am going to use my Forget the Filler gloss in the shade Velvet. I will be right back. This is the final look, utilizing the Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette to create a glam black and silver halo eye. This is the eye look from this video that everybody wanted me to recreate, and I think I did a darn good job. When I look at the pictures of that eye look versus what I have done today, I think I recreated it pretty perfectly. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get this video up and bring it to fruition for you. I promised you I would do it, and then I forgot. So here I am doing this look, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it and learned something. Let me know if you learned anything new down in the comment section. Let me know what you think of the eye look down in the comment section. Let me know if you're pleased as punch or if you hate it down in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. Some things that I would like you to note is that this didn't really fall out all over my face. You guys never once saw me swipe away things. You were up close and personal. Probably didn't see much fallout. I did wipe underneath my eyes. There was a little bit of fallout from the silver, but that is it. And I think it's because I packed it onto my brush in the way that I did in order to get it to adhere to my eyes. But again, I didn't use any kind of glitter glue. I just wet my brush. I used every single shade in this palette to create this eye look, and I think it turned out really, really pretty. Let me know what you guys think of the rest of the makeup. I would be interested in hearing from every single one of you. Down in the comment section, I'm just staring at my eyes. Like, I dig it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope if you did, you're giving it a big thumbs up. I hope that you found yourself quite enamored by my channel and that you'll want to subscribe before you go. I also hope that your month is treating you all kindly, that 2023 so far is treating you all kindly, that you and yours are well, that you're safe, that you're healthy, and that you're getting along as best you can in this crazy world that we're living in right now. I hope that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.